I've had conferences, people come up and start just telling you, and then they just start, I'm sorry. But they sometimes will cry the opposite, tears of joy, when they get the glimpse of light that, yes, this is going to help.
Hello, and welcome to the Arts of Language podcast with Andrew Pudewa, founder of the Institute for Excellence in Writing, or as many like to say, IEW. My name is Julie Walker, and I'm honored to serve Andrew and IEW as the Chief Marketing Officer. Our goal is to equip teachers and teaching parents with methods and materials which will aid them in training their students to become confident and competent communicators and thinkers. So, Andrew, have you ever been in line in a restaurant or maybe at Starbucks or something, and the person in front of you was super grumpy and you just felt so bad for the barista that was taking their order?
It's more likely to happen at an airport.
Oh, sure, right.
I don't like Starbucks, and I try not to stand in lines by avoiding restaurants as much as possible.
Right.
But I do have tremendous compassion for people who work in the airline industry, because the only time anyone wants to talk to them is because they have a problem.
Yep.
And it's just continuous all day long, especially if there's delays and all that. And I do have a great empathy for people in that situation.
Do you know that there are studies on good customer service and the best way to get good customer service?
Well, I've studied it, but I don't know what you're referring to. I know the trick.
What's the trick?
Smile at people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to be a good customer. If you are a good customer, you will get good customer service.
Yeah. No, I edged my way on a plane that was all closed out because I was the sweetest person she talked to all day.
You are so nice, Andrew. You really are a nice man.
I try.
So we have an amazing customer service department, and I believe that it's a both and conversation. I think it's both. We have the best customers.
We do.
But we also have an incredible customer service team who is very intentional about providing good customer service because, and this is actually true, Andrew, this is in their training manual, they want to be the voice of Andrew Pudewa.
Oh, well, I certainly appreciate that. And I hear everywhere I go, at least a couple times, people say, you have the best customer service of any company I've had to deal with.
Yep.
So I'm happy about that. Congratulations, Julie Walker.
Well, thank you. But actually, congratulations really needs to go to, we actually have a team of customer service leaders because we consider our customer service department to include everyone who is talking to schools, anyone who is talking to our resellers, anyone who is talking directly to our parent teachers. And so that's actually 3 departments, plus this 4th department that we created this year to help both the schools and the customers, called Customer Support Specialists. And we actually have today in our podcast studio our manager of customer support, and that is Catherine. Catherine, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
So I thought it would be fun, Andrew, to let Catherine share some of her secrets of how she trains her team to interact with customers. And we have this philosophy of customer service called the 6 hats of customer service.
The 6 hats?
Yes.
Okay, well, let's hear about it. Are they in a particular order?
No. We start with our cheerful leader. This is somebody who cheerfully leads the conversation. So generally, you think that the person who's going to lead the conversation is going to be the person who's calling. But we know they're calling because they need help, and we have the help that they need. So we cheerfully lead them through that conversation to provide the best help possible. So that is accomplished with a smile on our face. Guess who we learned that from?
Well, Andrew Pudewa.
Of course, he just said it. If you have a smile on your face, they can hear that in our tone. And so that's very important that we smile.
And I have to mention, Andrew, this is one of your secret weapons that you mention in your motivation talk. So we'll put a link in our show notes for that talk, because a smile, and I love hearing you say to me or to the team, I can hear your smile through the phone. Even though they can't see you, Catherine, they can hear your smile.
Absolutely. Yes, we have. I mean, if you were to walk through our office, you would see sticky notes on people's desks that say, don't forget to smile, especially in the summer when we're very busy.
Yes, so we're getting close to that busy season right now. I also will share with our listeners that we have these posters, not really posters, they're pictures of hats. And they're not hats, they're people wearing the hats.
That's correct.
And so describe the picture of the cheerful leader hat.
She looks like Mary Poppins on a rocket ship, and she is just very happy to accomplish anything that is sent her way.
And she is steering that rocket ship.
She sure is.
Okay, so what's the next hat?
Our next hat is our detective hat. And we get the opportunity to figure out what the customer needs when they call us. Sometimes they don't quite know what it is that they need. And so we get to ask some important questions, understand the heart of the issue, and help them get the help that they need.
What would be an example of one of those questions where you have to put on the detective hat?
They're asking for a file, and we don't know maybe where they came across that file, or they just know they need this supplemental file. It was in the teaching, writing, structure, and style, and they need help finding how to access that file. So we've got to get into their account, see what they own, and then be able to walk them through that process of finding that file, getting it added to their account.
I'm sure the detective hat does look a bit like the Sherlock Holmes style of hat.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
With the magnifying glass. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so what's the next hat, Catherine?
It is the therapist hat.
Oh, yes.
So the first job that we have is to build a rapport with our customers, to gain their trust and be able to share Mr. Pudewa's wisdom with them in our conversations. So whether that's pointing them to our teaching, writing, structure, and style, a great article, a blog post, it's our job to hear them out and see how we can help.
Right.
Do you ever have people cry
Yes.
on the phone?
Yes. Overwhelmed parents. That happens.
I've had conferences, people come up and start just telling you, and then they just start, I'm sorry. But, and then they sometimes will cry the opposite, tears of joy.
Yes.
When they get the glimpse of light that, yes, this is going to help them. I think people cry because they touch things that are real, right? And so I don't like the word therapist all that much, but you think about, a person who walks you through a process of being able to get to the reality of your situation. There's the pain of it, but also the gratitude that now there's hope.
Yep. So, Catherine, what does the therapist hat look like?
It is, you see the back of a therapist, or what looks like a therapist, and a gentleman sitting on a couch with a birthday hat, and he's very happy. So his situation is not necessarily dire, but he definitely is happy that he's getting the help he needs.
Yeah. So sometimes when I'm overhearing a conversation, I can tell that our customer service agent is just listening, and I can tell they've got the therapist hat on, because that's sometimes what people need to do, is just share what it is that's on their heart, and with some hope, hoping against hope that we can somehow solve their challenges.
Yes.
And if it's related to teaching children to write, most of the time the answer is absolutely, we can help.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the next hat?
It's our assistant hat. This is where IEW customer service agents will do the nuts and bolts of customer service. So we're providing account information, helping them to place an order, finding the information that they need, and really be able to understand how we can assist them. What is it that they need? So whether that is a school, we would send them to our schools team. So knowing that difference so that we can provide them with the best customer service so they go to the right team.
And so what does that hat look like?
That is a parent teaching a student how to cook.
Right.
And they're cutting something. So
it's a little chef's hat.
Yeah.
Oh, a chef's hat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a sous chef.
Yes, right. They're
Yeah.
assisting.
What is a sous chef? Is it the guy who makes the ingredients for soup? I've never known. I've heard the term
In
many times.
my world, a sous chef is someone that helps me put the dinner together, whatever that means, chopping the vegetables or stirring the soup or,
Oh, gosh, in my world, that's just grandchildren.
Well, absolutely. Okay, and the next hat is?
It's our consultant hat. So this hat is very important. It is our job to find out what the customer needs or the student needs are and their interest. Are they needing help with grammar or spelling? And then point them in the direction of the right product. We never have a sales tone with our customers. We want to consult them. We want to provide them with the best information about our curriculum and allow them to make the best choice for their students.
Right. Everybody's different.
Years back, I'm not sure what year we did this shift, but at conventions, we stopped selling stuff.
Exactly.
And that was kind of radical. In fact, some of the other people I know that do conventions were surprised. Like, you're not selling anything? Or people will come up and then they discover, no, you can't buy it right now. And sometimes they're disappointed, but I think the overall effect is it just takes all the pressure off. Like, I don't have to decide right now. And then there's a freedom that exists in the conversation. The people know you're not here to make money from me. You're here to serve. You're here to help me understand. And I think this is one of the best things about our booth at conventions is we're there to be that. Sometimes a therapist, but usually it's matching up the needs with the possible solutions to those needs. And there's a kind of a relaxedness that contributes to overall peace and joy on both sides.
Yep,
So
I agree.
Glad we did that.
Yep, me too.
Yes, many customers will mention, oh, well, do I need to remember your name so that I can call back and speak to you so you get credit for this sale? And it's wonderful to explain to them that that's not how we operate. Everyone is just as knowledgeable, and it is our job to inform them about our product, and we're not selling product. We are sharing our product with you to help your students be great writers and communicators. And they're just amazed that that's not the way that we operate. And it's wonderful. Yeah.
And we do have, as Catherine mentioned, we do have these separate teams, but the teams are mostly about specializing in a certain area. When we are selling to schools and we're providing the resources available that we have that we know will work well in their classroom, oftentimes the teacher who wants to use our material, maybe they were previously a homeschooling parent. Who knows, Andrew? Maybe they themselves went through IEW as a student, right? And now they're a teacher and they want to bring this to their students in their classroom. Well, there's certain permissions that need to be gained from the school administrator, from the school board. And so our schools team is trained to work with anyone at any level to be able to provide that consultation that is needed to make what we believe is the best decision for them to teach English composition in their classrooms. It's kind of nice working with a homeschooling parent because they are the teacher, the school board, the principal, they're everything. And so they can pretty much make the decisions on the spot. But then if they want to make a decision on the spot and they're at a convention, as they say, they can literally just go make the order on their phone and we can help them with that if they need that help. But nope, no selling at booths anymore.
And our last hat is our marketer hat. This is where we work to make sure that our brand is clearly communicated and everyone is aware of that, including our team of ambassadors. These are our friends who love IEW and share it with their community. So it is our job to make sure that whether we're at a convention, as we've mentioned, or a live event or a training here, that we are all speaking the same language and sharing the same message.
Right. And so this is just another way to make sure that our customer service team is aware of everything that we're doing, because there's a lot going on around here, Andrew. We've got podcasts, we've got blog posts, we've got events, we've got webinars, And so our customer service teams help to expand this message of what we're doing. And that's why this is actually our newest hat, is the marketing hat. So we've got things to market. I forgot to ask what the consultation hat is. Did we talk about what the picture looks like?
Yes, it's a gentleman on a whiteboard with all of these different products and theories, and he's, just bringing some light to that. So,
yeah.
So it's one of those hard hats with a flashlight attached? Or?
I think it's more like a businessman's hat where he's writing formulas on the board. Sometimes it feels like that, like, okay, if we connect this person to this person, and then we have to talk to this person, and just doing the consultation. And of course, the marketing hat, it's not so much the hat.
Yeah.
It's kind of the straw hat that you see in the classic Carney show, like come and you see this show, but then he also has some bags to give away. Yeah.
And these hats are like image-based mnemonics.
Yeah, exactly.
So you kind of remember.
Yeah. And
the mode I'm in.
Yes, exactly. And so these are surrounding our customer service room. And so we'll include some pictures of these hats in our show notes so our customers can see when they're calling what kind of questions, and maybe they can figure out, oh, well, actually, I have a question for you. Could you please put on your therapist hat? And then maybe we can be easier for especially some of our newer members of our team to be able to shift their thinking that way. One thing that we pride ourselves in with our customer service team is that we are very intentional about training. Mm-hmm. Every year we bring on a few new people, and what we like to do is, regardless of where they serve, because we have people that are serving in Florida, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, state of Washington, Georgia, I'm forgetting some places, Arkansas,
Tennessee,
yes, of course. We like to bring them in when they're first starting, just to be sure that they kind of embrace that culture of IEW, so that when they're going off to their home office and they're connecting with us virtually, they still feel a part of this great community of team that serve IEW and you, Andrew.
Well, and I tease them because it's kind of like hazing in a little bit, right? You have a lot of things you have to do to get fully qualified,
It's
I
true.
guess. And I fear one of those things is they have to watch a good number of hours of me, and they have to do all the writing assignments of the TWSS. And so that seems time-consuming. It seems really isn't necessary. Isn't there just a data? But don't we just have an AI that can answer all the questions?
No.
Why do we have to invest so much to learn? But again and again, I've heard people say, your person who I talked to on the phone was so knowledgeable. And of course, that brings great joy to my heart.
Yes, exactly. So I know it seems a little bit odd, almost self-promoting, to spend a whole podcast talking about our customer service and why it's so important to us. But I think in this world of AI, as you mentioned, Andrew, and online ordering, and yes, you can find all of our products on Amazon and many of our resellers, but regardless of where you purchase our materials, regardless of, even if you got it used from a friend, we are here to help. We don't want to commit one of the 4 deadly errors of customer service. That's a wink, wink to Andrew's talk, the 4 deadly errors of teaching and writing. We don't want to withhold help. We want people to know that we are here for them, that we've got resources available, starting with, of course, our customer service team.
Well, and now in the world of online everything, so often you go to a chat and it says, "Hi, I'm your AI chat agent, Jerome," or whatever. and my thought is, I don't want to talk to you. If you could answer the question I have, I would have already found the answer. And so we will, I don't know, never say never, but as far as I'm concerned, we will never go to a AI-based chat screening. And then you have to wait even longer to get connected with a real person. No, we are all real people.
We are all real people here. And we do have a chat function on our website. And if it's outside of office hours, then that chat will go to an email, and that email will be responded to generally within 1 to 2 business days. So maybe there's a little bit more delay, but every time our office is open, 9 to 5 Central Time, there is a live person helping with chats And I've seen them. My daughter-in-law is actually one of them. I've seen some of our agents handle more than one chat at a time,
Sure.
just because they're capable of doing that, because once the person gets the question answered, they might have another one and it needs to be formulated. In the meantime, I can switch over to this other question. I love personally as a consumer, I love chat. I'm more inclined to start a chat conversation than to pick up the phone and be put on hold for a very long time, which is another thing I want to mention, Catherine. What I love about our customer service team is when our hold times start to get longer. And what would you say is your rule of thumb before you dial up another team?
Less than 5 minutes.
Yeah. So we like to keep our hold times less than 5 minutes. And they have this whole list of people that they can dial up and bring into the phone queue if we start getting bogged down. I will mention, though, speaking of chat, and this is just the way it is, if we're getting bogged down, those customer service agents who are helping out with chat are asked to log out of chat so that they can take the phone calls, because we do have to keep the phones going. So, but I think it's a good system.
It's the hierarchy of needs.
Kind of that. Very much so. Very much so. Well, thank you, Catherine, for being with us today.
You're welcome.
And thank you for all you do to serve our company here at IEW with all the teams that you manage, as well as helping with our customer service.
It's my pleasure. I love this job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode and want to hear more, please subscribe to our podcast in iTunes, Stitcher, or Spotify, or just visit us each week at iew.com/podcasts. Here you can also find show notes and relevant links from today's broadcast. One last thing, would you mind going to iTunes to rate and review our podcast? This really helps other smart, caring listeners like you find us. Thanks so much.